Today's topic is procure to pay. Some people they call as purchase to pay or P2P. They all are the same, procure to pay or purchase to pay, P2P. So we will see what modules are involved in purchase to pay or procure to pay, and how as a finance functional consultant we are responsible in the process of procure to pay. So procure to pay, there are two modules involved: the integration of SAP and the integration of SAP FICO accounts payables. The process starts from requisition. So we create a purchase requisition. Then after the approval process, we create the purchase order. This purchase order is sent to the vendor and we will receive the goods. Up to here, this is part of purchasing department or part of SAP module. Once we received the invoice from the vendor, then the finance department begins. As soon as you have a invoice, where invoice entered into the SAP, it updates the finance. It creates the finance document. Whereas in purchasing the good receipt, it creates the material document. But at this stage, you cannot see any finance document. You can see finance document only from invoice. After receiving the invoice, we have to verify the invoice against purchase order or good receipt. Then we will process the invoice, then pay the vendors. So in this process, there are two types of invoice verification process, that is two-way process and three-way process. In two-way process, you will cross-check your invoice against the purchase order and you pay the vendor. In three-way process, you have to cross-check your invoice against the good receipt and the purchase order. If there is any discrepancies between the purchase order, the invoice, or purchase order with the good receipt or good receipt with the invoice, immediately we will block the invoice for posting payments to the vendor. These all are part of the procure to pay process or P2P process. So the P2P also include accounts payables. Accounts payable starts from creating a vendor master data, then processing the invoice, then payments to the vendor. These are part of accounts payables. And also we have to reconcile all our accounts payables and transfer the value to your balance sheet or the general ledger. Whatever the transactions we will be posting on the subledger, that will be automatically updated with the general ledger, and it's a real time, and all the reconciliation accounts are reconciled. But you cannot directly post anything to reconcile accounts. If you look at the master data for like vendor master data, there are three important components. The one is general data, purchasing data, accounting data. If you are creating a vendor from finance side, we just enter the general data and accounting data. We don't do anything in purchasing data. But if you are trying to create a vendor from side, material management, then you will be doing the general data and purchasing data. So that is why these three different master data components in vendor master. So under accounts payables, invoices are the most important document for the payment. Invoices has to be cleared and they have to be verified. There are two types of invoice verifications. One is invoices can be with purchase order or without purchase order. If any invoices are from FI, we don't require the purchase order because they all are the expenses. Whereas if you are getting any invoices from the against the purchase order, they will be from So anything is doing from we require the purchase order. Anything doing from FI, we don't require the purchase order. Invoices we can park and post, or we can hold the invoices. Park the invoices means you will enter all the data, everything correctly, but you don't have authorization to post the invoice. Your supervisor or your manager has an authorization to post it after the verification. So that is the parking. And holding means you can enter the data, you entered all the fields, but some of the fields you missed or you have to update those fields. So temporarily you can hold the document. Okay, so you don't require any authorization or anything. So just you can hold the invoice or document, and once you get that information, you can update those information and you can post it. Okay, so these are the three different type of documents you can post, park and hold. When you park an invoice, there will not be any transactions or posting in FI side because it hasn't completed. Until it is posted, you cannot see any transactions in FI. Parked invoices enable to enter and store incomplete invoices. You can do all the changes. You can update, you can delete, you can display, and you can post it. Once it is posted, then only it creates the entry in accounting. It creates posting in finance. So that is why these are very, very important. So this is the document structure. You have the header, document header, and document line items. Header has all document date, posting date. then currency type, whereas line items you have the which GL account you are trying to post, what entry, how much the value, all those details in the line item level. Document types are very important, and also the number ranges, field status group, posting keys, they all are very important in the P2P process. So you can see if you have a subledgers, all the subledgers are linked to general ledger via reconciliation account, and this reconciliation is account directly linked to your balance sheet account if you don't have the consolidation system. But if you have a consolidation system, then through consolidation system it linked to balance sheet. So there are different type of document types, posting case, they all are configurable. You can see in the system, and you can see the entries, how the postings, which GL account is hitting, what type of entries we are posting, debit, credit. Okay, then finally coming to the payment processes. There are two types of payment process. One is you can pay manually, or you can do automatic payment. So manually the transaction is F-53, and for automatic the transaction is F110, that is called APP, automatic payment program. So we have to do a lot of configurations in this payment program, and we have to pay the vendor. Then you have the reports, vendor balances display, all the reports that will help you to see whether you paid that vendor or not. Okay, so this is all the process, procure to pay process. Thank you.